What's up, y'all? We are back with another video today. Today we are going to be doing NFL quarterback tier list for this coming season. And yeah, I don't really want to have too long of an intro here. I think we know what's about to come. But yeah, like and subscribe for more. I'm looking to do a running back tier list after this, and after that, I'm probably going to do receivers and then tight ends. If you guys have not, if you guys are seeing me now new on YouTube for the very first time, I also have a TikTok. I'll put that in the description down below, so check that out if you want. But yeah, subscribe, like, turn notifications on for more videos like this. But yeah, let's just jump into it. So starting off, Anthony Richardson is here, but we're not going to do him because this is after it was said that he was benched, right? So we're going to start with Aaron Rodgers. Now, Aaron Rodgers, to me, I like him, right? I have a special place in my heart for Aaron Rodgers because he won me my first fantasy championship. But Aaron Rodgers in this current state, I don't think I can put him higher than C tier. I'll have to see how the rest of this list kind of shapes out. But for me, he's like high C tier, low B tier. I think he played okay last year. As much as I want to say, like, I don't think he was the main part of the problem last year. I think he played a part of the problem, but the thing is, I honestly can't even pinpoint what that issue was. You know what I mean? I think he had 28 touchdowns and like 11 interceptions, which isn't bad by any means, but it's just not enough to even. Now I'm kind of, you know what? For right now, I'm gonna put him in B tier, but I am open to dropping him down. But we're gonna let's see how this kind of shapes up first. You know what? No, C tier for sure. Because Baker Mayfield, in my personal opinion, I have Baker Mayfield at B tier. I like Baker Mayfield a lot. Baker Mayfield for me is like just about to be A tier. I think if he has another season like how he had, I think I would be more confident putting him at A tier. But I think right now B tier is okay. But I want to see how the rest of this shapes out. I am pretty confident though that he's gonna stay here. But if there's anyone that could move up to A tier, it's gonna be Baker Mayfield. But yeah, Bo Nix. Now Bo Nix, he had a kind of an average year. I don't think it was anything crazy. I think this year he'll probably replicate the same kind of stats, if not maybe a little bit worse. But for Bo Nix, I have B tier. I think he doesn't do anything that special, right? He's pretty average at pretty much everything. So I think B tier is a pretty good spot for him. Brock Purdy, I also have at B tier. I think most of his, not even most of it, I think all of his success is mainly from scheme, right? We've seen this time and time again. Kyle Shanahan's system brought the best out of Jimmy Garoppolo, brought the best out of obviously Brock Purdy. And even then, before Trey Lance got hurt, he wasn't playing the worst either, right? Like, he wasn't playing good by any means, but he wasn't playing the worst either, right? He still had some success in that system. And so I think if Brock Purdy was on a different team with a different roster around him, it would be worse. So my personal opinion, I think Brock Purdy's a B tier quarterback, but not horrible by any means. Bryce Young, I have Bryce Young at. I want to put Bryce Young at C just because I believe in him so much, but based off what we have seen, I have to put him at D tier. I think he could jump up to a C or a B tier, but I think based off what I've seen right now, I don't think I can put him higher than D tier. Like, when he's been on the field, he hasn't been that good. He's been one of the worst quarterbacks in the league, and he only had a good half season last year after he was benched. So I don't feel confident to put him in the same tier as Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers just plays better, more consistently than Bryce Young. So Bryce Young I have to put a D tier, but I think this year is the year where he makes the jump to be a C or a B tier quarterback. CJ Stroud, I also have a B tier. He has such a good year that first year. I almost want to put him A tier, but you know what? I'm gonna switch this a little bit. I'm gonna put CJ at B tier, but I am gonna move Baker to A tier. Only because I think CJ hasn't done as much as Baker. Even that first year that he had that was really good, statistically it wasn't that great. And I think people don't give enough credit to the defense that CJ Stroud had in his rookie year and the way that D'Amico Ryans was able to, one, draft the pieces on defense that they drafted, but also just come up with a good scheme that played good. And I think CJ Stroud kind of benefited from that because that first year, I think they went like 10-7, 11-6, or something like that, and they were 10-7, 9-8, I think last year. So I think CJ Stroud is I think CJ Stroud is a great quarterback, but in terms of putting quarterbacks in S and A tier, I don't think he's fully there at A tier. I think I would have put him A tier last year, but with the step back that he had last year, I think I have to put him at B tier. Cam Ward, automatically I'm gonna put Cam Ward in D tier only because he hasn't played. I'm gonna do that with all the rookies, so no one kill me. But I'm just gonna put him there. He hasn't played yet. Caleb Williams, I'm gonna put a B tier. I like Caleb Williams. I think he has the talent, but the team definitely struggled last year. I think that was more scheme rather than Caleb Williams' fault. But I can't, even though I see the talent that Caleb Williams has, I can't put him at A tier. I can't. He doesn't have the success yet to really prove to me that I can say he's an A tier quarterback. Now, if he was dealing with all of this adversity and brought the Bears to a better record, I would have put him at A tier, but I can't put him at A tier right now, so he's going to stay there. Daniel Jones, D tier. I think he's worse than Bryce Young. I'd much rather have Bryce Young on my team than Daniel Jones. I don't think I have to talk too much about Daniel Jones. He's had a horrible last 2 years with the Giants, and I'm surprised he ended up beating Anthony Richardson for the job, but I know Anthony Richardson has not been as consistent as the Colts have wanted him to be. So I understand, Daniel Jones being over Anthony Richardson as a starter. But Anthony Richardson, as of this tier list, I think he's definitely worse than all of these guys. And realistically, I would put Cam Ward over Daniel Jones. I think Cam Ward this season is probably going to be a B tier quarterback. But again, no playing time from Cam Ward yet. I can't rank him. But Daniel Jones, D tier, I think that's pretty easy. Drake May, I have at C. He had flashes last year. But I don't think this team has enough around him yet to be a good quarterback. I think he'll have a better year than Aaron Rodgers for sure, and I think he'll probably toe the line at B tier. He might have a similar season to Bo Nix, but I think he's gonna have less team success than Bo Nix, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna put Drake May at C tier. This is mainly looking at how he played last year, but I do see the potential in Drake May. And I think Drake May's ceiling, in my opinion, is like a low A tier. But I don't even think he'll reach that. I think he'll probably be a B quarterback for his that'll probably be the best he'll be in his whole career. But as of right now, he's a C tier quarterback. Dak Prescott. I know everyone likes to hate on Dak Prescott, but me personally, I think that Dak Prescott is a B tier quarterback. I think the thing with Dak is when things are going well, they're going extremely well. They're going like almost perfect, right? But when Dak has a bad game, it is a really, really, really bad game. 3 interceptions or just off throws all the time. And I think the highs are so high, but the lows are so low. I can't put him at A tier, but I also feel uncomfortable putting him as C tier quarterback. So I feel like B tier is the right spot to go to, right? I think he's probably, if I had to like put this in order, I would probably put him behind CJ Stroud. But I think what CJ Stroud does better is that even though some of his highs are as high as Dak Prescott, his lows are not as frequent as Prescott or as low, right? Yeah, I just think the flashes that Dak has is better than the lows that he has. You know what I mean? So putting Dak at B, I think that's a good spot for him there. Geno, I think Geno's a C tier quarterback. I think he's better than Drake. But Geno is one of those guys where he's just like perfectly average, right? He's perfectly average. But I think he benefited from the team around him in Seattle. I know everyone liked to say how good he was, and oh my God, he was so much better than what we thought. And I think part of it just had to do with receivers, right? I think with the Jets, I don't even remember who the receivers were, but I know they weren't anywhere near DK Metcalf and Jackson Smith and Jigba and Tyler Lockett, right? So I think having that group of receivers definitely helped Geno a lot and made him look better than he was. But I don't think Geno's a B tier quarterback. I think he's a C tier quarterback. His best games, he plays like a B tier quarterback, right? He's had maybe one game where he played like an A tier quarterback when he was with the Seahawks, but most of his best games are B tier. Nothing that would propel him to A tier. So I think for that reason, I have to put him at C. Josh Allen, pretty easy, S tier. I don't even want to say anything about that. I think we all know he's S tier. Me personally, I think he is. I'll talk about it a little bit more, but I think he's the second or third best quarterback in the league. Joe Burrow, S tier as well. I think that's also pretty easily. I mean, he had one of the worst defenses in the league last year, and him and the receiving core carried that team to almost a playoff spot. So I think if it wasn't for Burrow, that team would not be anywhere near a playoff spot. So yeah, Joe Burrow, S tier. Jaden Daniels, I'm very reluctant putting rookies at A tier, right? Or not rookies, second year players at A tier. But I think even though his stats weren't his stats weren't that much better than Bo Nix and Caleb Williams, I think the team success is why I have to put him at A tier. His teams felt like they were much better than the Broncos and the Bears. Well, I know they were definitely better than the Bears, but I think his team felt better than the Broncos, and they had relatively the same records, but it was very clear that offense was succeeding because of Jaden Daniels, right? It wasn't like Jaden Daniels was there along for the ride. Jaden Daniels was making those plays, right? He was running, he was the read options, he was scrambling and all this and all that, making deep throws, intermediate throws, on time, accurately, in between windows. And I think for that, I have to put him at A tier. I don't like to do that with guys who are going into the second year, because I think that first year, you're either going to be average, right? You're either going to be really good because teams haven't really figured out how to stop you, or you're going to be bad because you are getting used to the NFL. And I think right now, Jaden Daniels had a similar season to what C.J. Stroud had. C.J. Stroud came out there, no one really knew how to stop him, and he was out there and he played well. And then the second year, yes, he had injury problems with receivers and O-line, but he himself even still didn't play as good. There were throws that I saw that he would miss. There were coverages that he misread. And I could see Jaden Daniels kind of going through the same thing, or teams kind of being able to figure out how to stop his running ability a little bit better. But I think Jaden Daniels will have more success in his sophomore season than C.J. Stroud did in his. But yeah, that's where I'm gonna put Jaden Daniels, A tier. I think that's a good spot. Jackson Dart, he's not even the starter, so I'm pretty sure he's not gonna start. So I'm gonna leave him down here at D tier. But yeah, or actually no, I'm not even gonna rank him. Sorry, Joe Flacco. I have to put Joe Flacco at C. I think he's average. I don't think he's gonna replicate the season that he had with the Browns when he brought them to the playoffs, but I don't think he's gonna be absolutely horrible. I think Aaron Rodgers will have a better season than Joe Flacco. But yeah, I don't really want to talk too much about Joe Flacco. I think we know that he's not anything crazy. Justin Fields. I know people that would want to put Justin Fields as a D or a C tier quarterback. I think Justin Fields is a B tier quarterback, but I think he is a low B to a high C quarterback, and I'm really interested in seeing how this year goes for him. Right, I think him being being around better players is going to be better for him. He has a better running back than he did in Chicago. He has better, other than the 1 year he had with DJ Moore. But I think he's going to have better receivers than he did than Chicago. And we saw in that last year that they had DJ Moore. Yes, they didn't have a great record, but that offense looked a lot better. And even though he struggled, I think is mainly just about the fact that the other people around the team weren't as good. And I think the Jets team right now is better than what the Bears team was when Justin Fields was there, right? So I like Justin Fields' running ability. I think as a passer, he's a little underrated, right? People like to say he's this horrible passer. I don't think he's that bad. I've seen him make some really great throws, but consistency is the issue. And reading the defenses, especially when it comes to second and third reads, that's kind of where he struggles at, and I want to see improvement from that. But I think he's a B-tier quarterback, but again, low B, high C, right? Jared Goff. Jared Goff. Based off of success, I have to put him at A tier. He's just a less mobile Baker Mayfield, in my opinion. I can't really argue with team success and stats, but I think like some of these guys in B tier I think are more talented than Jared Goff. But just Jared Goff has had the success to show that he belongs in this A tier spot. Like I think CJ Stroud is more talented than Goff, and I think Caleb Williams will get to the point where he is going to be more talented than Goff. But they don't have the team success backing up his resume like Goff does, and for that reason, Goff is going to be an A tier quarterback. Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is A tier. Not A tier, sorry, S tier. I think people tend to underrate him when it comes to passing. I think the two Super Bowls against the Chiefs really opened my eyes when it came to how good of a passer Jalen Hurts can be. He was toe for toe in that first championship, or in that first Super Bowl. He was toe for toe with Mahomes, and I think that's really hard to do. And Jalen Hurts did it. And I'm not gonna say he did it with ease, but it didn't look hard. It didn't look difficult. He was out there just making the throws that needed to be done and making them accurately. And I think as a passer, he's much better than people like to say. And obviously as a runner, I think he's a good runner as well. Nowhere like Josh Allen, but he's probably he's like a more chill Justin Fields, in my opinion, when it comes to running the ball. But yeah, I got Jalen Hurts as an S tier, but he's like 5. He's probably like the 5th best quarterback in my opinion in the league. So in that case, it would be like a low S tier, high A tier. But yeah, that's how I feel. Justin Herbert, I'm putting him at A tier. Arm talent's there. I think the arm talent plus the scrambling ability is enough to put him at A, even though his resume isn't that good. I think Justin Herbert is a more talented quarterback than CJ Stroud. And they have similar resumes, and that's why I have CJ Stroud here at B and Justin Herbert here at A. I'm really excited for this year. I think another year being in the Jim Harbaugh system is going to be good for him, and he'll improve. And I think we'll see a little bit more of the Justin Herbert that we've been wanting to see. I think Jim Harbaugh is going to kind of loosen the reins a little bit for Justin Herbert, and Justin Herbert's going to go out there and play well. So I'm excited to see that. JJ McCarthy hasn't played yet, so I'm just gonna put him at D tier just because he hasn't played yet. Jordan Love, A tier, pretty easily. I think he's probably I would put him over Jaden Daniels, in my opinion. I think he needs to take that next step to be over these guys like Baker Mayfield and Jared Goff, but I think he's almost there. I'm excited for him to be with these receivers, and for them to grow together and have another good year together. I'm really excited for that, but I think just success. I think his team success it speaks for itself, and he hasn't been playing horribly, and I don't think he's been getting carried by the roster. So I think Jordan Love being there is good. Kyler Murray. I'm going to put Kyler Murray. I'm putting Kyler Murray in B tier. I think this size really limits him. I think he's like a above average arm talent in terms of throws that can be made, but he's not the best rusher, right? He's definitely not one of the best passers. His team success really is not that great, but I don't think I could put him on at C tier with players like Geno Smith and Drake May. I think he belongs in B tier, and I think that's a good spot for him. Kenny Pickett's not a starter, so I'm not going to rank him. Lamar Jackson, to me, yeah, Lamar Jackson to me is the second best quarterback in the league. I think his arm talent is nowhere near Josh Allen's, but I think his running ability is so much better than Josh Allen's, and you don't see it much now because he's trying to protect his body a little bit more. But that first MVP season that Lamar had, his scrambling was unmatched. I don't think Josh Allen could recreate that kind of season, and Lamar still has it in him, but he just protects his body more so that way he doesn't get hit because he understands that he needs to be on the field for his team to be successful. And while Josh Allen has a way better arm than Lamar, I think Lamar's arm is underrated. I know a lot of people that say he can't throw. I witnessed it personally. I was there at that game when he blew out the Dolphins 40-0 on opening weekend. And I was surprised by the throws he was making. And I thought it was just oh my God, he only did this one game. Like, this isn't going to be how it is all season. And it was like that all year, making great throws. And then years after that, he was making great throws. The game again against the Dolphins, where there was that the Dolphins had that big comeback. Yeah, Lamar lost the game, but he had some great throws that game. Every time I see him going against the Dolphins, I'm always seeing him make consistently great throws. And even when I'm just watching him when he's playing other people, great throws there as well. So I think Lamar is the second best quarterback in the league, and I'll stand on that. But yeah, S tier for Lamar, I think that's pretty easy. Penix, just because we haven't seen too much and a little bit that we have seen isn't amazing, I'm going to put him at C tier, but I was more impressed by what I saw from Penix than I was from Drake. I think Penix this year will probably be a B tier quarterback, but I just can't put him there yet because he just hasn't played enough. Matthew Stafford. I would love to put Matthew Stafford at A tier, but I can't. I have to put him at B tier, but he's one of those guys who his arm talent is still amazing, and he would be one of those fringe A tier guys. He's a high B, he's a high B, low A tier kind of guy, but I'm gonna put him in the high B, so I can kind of have my top 10 quarterbacks up here. But yeah, Matthew Stafford still has amazing arm talent even at his age. I still think back to, I don't know who they were playing against, but he threw like a corner route, I think, or an out route, deep out route, or no, it was a deep corner route, yeah, to Puka, literally only where Puka could get it, and Puka made a great grab, but not too many quarterbacks in the league can make that throw. But it's more about other quarterbacks make good throws more consistently, and Stafford just has too many bad games sometimes. Patrick Mahomes, best quarterback in the league. I'm not even gonna speak too much about that. Now, Russell Wilson, I don't know if he's going to be the Giants starter yet, but I think things are trending in that direction. And for me, Russell Wilson is a C tier quarterback. I think Justin Fields played better than Russ for this when they were on the Steelers together. I think he's better than Geno. Yeah, I don't really have too much to say about it, really. But I do think that he's a C tier quarterback. I think this year is a big prove it year. I know I'm saying prove it year, but I think this is a make or break year. If he doesn't play good this year, I think he's out of the league. If he plays good, I think he'll probably play for another year or two. Sam Darnold for me is a B tier quarterback. Honestly, I don't know where I would rate him. I think I would put him above. I'd put him above Dak. A surprise year from Sam Darnold. I didn't think it was going to be that good. But I think he's. I don't think he's gonna recreate the season that he had with the Seahawks. I think he's gonna play worse. I think he'll probably be more in this range with like the Kyler Murray, and Brock Purdy kind of spots. I think he'll probably fall there. But yeah, I think he's gonna regress this year. I don't think this year's gonna be as good as it was last year. I'm going to kind of speed run these last couple guys. Rattler, D tier, just not good. Shador's not there. I think Trevor Lawrence at this point is a B tier quarterback. I have him about here. I think This is going to be a big proving year for him as well. And honestly, there's no other quarterbacks here other than Tua. And in my personal opinion, I think Tua's here. I think Tua's a BT quarterback. I like him. I think Tua's the only guy that can run the Mike McDaniels offense. People like to say he sucks. I don't think he sucks. I think he's a top 15 quarterback in the league. But at times he can play like an A-tier quarterback. And we've seen flashes of S-tier. Now, me as a Dolphins fan, in my bias, I would want to put him in A, but I know he doesn't belong there. The big question mark with Tua is honestly just availability. But I think he has consistently more better games than CJ Stroud, but CJ Stroud has just had a little bit more success and more availability on the field, whereas Tua just hasn't. And I think he's been helped by having explosive receivers like Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. But yeah, this is my tier list. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I really enjoyed making this video. Next is going to be running backs, like I already said. Receivers are going to be after that, and then tight ends. And I think after that, I'm going to then start doing some team predictions. Let me know in the comments what team predictions you would like to see. For sure, I'm going to do the Dolphins, but I would want to see what you guys think. And also, if you guys have any advice or anything you want to see in videos, let me know, and I'll be happy to do that. But yeah, like and subscribe for more. TikTok again is going to be in the bio. Instagram's also going to be in the bio, just if you want to follow me on there as well. I don't really make content there. This is my personal Instagram, just do my own thing. But yeah, great. Yeah. I'm still figuring out how to end these videos off, but yeah, had fun making this one. And yeah, let me know if you guys want to see more. Peace out.